This is a highly requested reading so it's kind of two readings in one, based on what has been asked of me by you guys. So I'm doing a reading between, the dynamic between Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez, but I'm also doing a reading about Justin Bieber's thoughts and feelings about Benny and Selena being together, getting engaged, getting married, all the things, right? We're doing a past, present, future outcome sort of reading, for brevity, but also because I felt like so much was being said in just these small amount of cards. So there's still going to be a lot to say, but it's very interesting what I'm picking up on and what I'm feeling from this, because of course we don't know what it's like necessarily to be celebrities. But we also know that celebrities are human. And so a lot of people are going to be like, wow, like this is what regular people go through. But, all right. And so it's looking at the past, present, future of the relationship between an outcome between Benny and Selena, and then the past, present, future thoughts and feelings and outcome, thoughts and feelings, Justin Bieber, and how he truly feels, what he truly thinks, what his opinions truly are, how this relationship between Selena and Benny has impacted him, right? And how he's truly feeling about it. Combination on the bottom of the deck between all three of these individuals is the Five of Swords and Courthouse. So to me, there is conflict. There is definitely conflict between these three individuals, okay? Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's sort of in a way, there is, we have here swords. So swords can usually have to do with the mind, and I equate swords to the internet. Okay. So whatever was being shared on social media, all right, was showing, or was kind of, it was transparent. It was showing, it was meant to intimidate. It was meant to bully. It was meant to be hostile. I feel like there was a game that all three of them may have been playing with each other online. And it was about kind of tongue in cheek, but it was also like winning. They like each one wanted to win something. And there was just this competition that was going on. And all three of them kind of felt like they were justified in it. All three of them felt like they were justified. I don't know who said what and did what on the internet, so please don't be mad at me if one of them did more than another one of them, and I don't know, okay? So I go into this not knowing for a reason, and it's to give clear and accurate information so that I'm not, I don't have all of this preconceived, I don't have all of this knowledge in my head. I'm reading with my third eye. So, and I just don't have a stance either way. I like to do readings on things where I don't have a stance. I'm unbiased. So I think that it was when things started to get serious that it was when things started to seem like they were heading in the direction of the marriage happening. And I'm talking about maybe about 23 days or so before Benny and Selena got married. there was a deep impact that this had on Justin. All right. So let's talk about Benny and Selena first. Past, present, future. What's going on with them? What is their relationship leading to? They are married now. So what is going on as far as like, is this sustainable? Will they be together? What is going on, and what happened in the past, what's happening in the present, what's going to happen in the future, and what the outcome is going to be. So here's the thing that if I find really interesting is that the Tower came out with the Awakening card for the past between them, which to me it signifies that, because this is very, very impactful for these two cards to come out together. It means that when they both were hanging out with each other, it seemed to be very social. It was amongst other people within their realm. They were very, very shocked that they developed feelings for each other, that they wanted each other. Okay. And it was sudden. It in a way, okay, I'm going to be honest with you about it. They were very mature. They were both mature when things happened, because they knew that it was controversial because of who they are. So in a way, this awakening, this double awakening, they both felt the same thing at the same time for each other. And it was the first time that it was kind of like even keeled, I think, on more on Selena's part than Benny. I think Benny has had moments where he's had that between himself and other people, but like Selena to a lesser degree, especially when it comes to somebody that she finds incredibly sexy and attractive, and someone, and no judgment, people who, you cannot, chemistry is an interesting thing, which I'm not going to get into, but it's an interesting thing. There was some way that they both were with each other that really turned both of them on. Okay. Not to be too dirty or whatever, but, they were kind of, it's like they were both struck by lightning. And that's what I got in the very beginning when I started shuffling the cards. And that's what I got for all three people in this situation. So when Benny and Selena first got together, lightning struck. And it was like, holy shit, you've been here the whole time. And I'm only just noticing that we work together. We fit. Like, I feel things, and it's amazing when this kind of thing happens. It's almost, it's like heaven on earth in a way. It's miraculous. It's synchronistic. It is an incredibly soul tying situation that happened between Benny and Selena, and they both had a very spiritual feeling about their connection from the get-go, and I think they've both had conversations about that as well. And the thing about the lightning striking, because I saw it in the Two of Cups when I was shuffling the deck, I saw it 2 times. The lightning striking between the two people holding hands. So that was also what happened to Justin when he heard about Benny and Selena being together. And I think that he heard about it long before it was ever made public. So he had his own time to melt down about it, I guess. But it doesn't seem like he handled it well. That's what I'm seeing from this reading about him. But going back to Benny and Selena, that is exactly what happened in the past between them. they felt fated to one another. Okay. It was honestly, it blew their minds. It was almost like, I never knew this could happen. I never knew this kind of thing happened to or that I didn't think it was going to happen to me. You think about it's going to happen to everybody else, or you see it in movies or whatever. And then it happens, and it's very real. It's very organic, and it felt very down to earth. Okay. The two of them have this very earthy quality about them, even though I know that they're water signs. There is this groundedness that they bring to each other. Okay. At first, in the past though, it was all like, they were out of their bodies. It was so powerful. Okay. That like they had to, this is how I feel, like they locked themselves away from the world to consume each other. Okay. Because in the present, they felt like fated to one another, and they have sexual chemistry. Okay. This is lust. This is like, ooh, girl, go watch, and rest in peace to D'Angelo, but go watch D'Angelo's video. How does it feel? Okay. That's the kind of, you want to get a sense of what I'm seeing. That's exactly how it feels. It's like this man that just knows how to work it. Okay. He knew how to work her. And I don't mean that he was doing it on purpose, like in a deceitful or like con artist kind of way. It was very natural, and they both felt the same way. And so there's this beautiful like out of body experience happening. There's also this sexual energy that's happening, and there's them kind of locking themselves away. Present moment, they are, oh God, I have to say this because Lust came out with Wheel of Fortune, and Lust is the 69th card. So I want to say that maybe they're doing that position a little bit. I'm not gonna, sorry if you are not wanting to hear about that. I will move on. They are in a very, they are at a turning point. Okay. They have deepened their connection. Okay. They are working through, they are working to, deepen, okay, their connection. They're moving into that. I also feel like, sometimes I feel like with a cycle, when it comes to the Wheel of Fortune coming out, sometimes the cycle is that, is pregnancy. So they might be working on trying to have a baby, or talks about starting a family. Okay. That's definitely, what they hope and what they want. That's not something that has ever been a question. Like, that's something that they both want to do. It's wonderful. They can do whatever they want to do. But that's definitely happening in the present moment. In the future, okay, they are going to be facing, Benny and Selena will be facing some kind of challenge. And it will be a legal challenge, okay? It has to do with something within the justice system that is going to cause them to have to protect something, have to protect themselves, have to stand their ground. It's going to challenge their connection. They may even, it's a challenge like that. They're never going to be without challenges. This is the meat and potatoes of growth, being in a relationship. They're going to be challenged though. And it's going to be pretty aggressive, in that, not that they're going to be aggressive towards each other. It's just going to be a really challenging time where boundaries are crossed. They have to, persevere. They have to protect themselves. This is Seven of Wands coming out with the legal card. So there's something in the future that they are going to have to, and you know what's really crazy is that this card in this deck, look, the woman in the Seven of Wands in this deck looks just like Selena when she wears her hair back in a low bun, like, and skin tone and everything, beautiful. It looks just like her. It's crazy. Protecting her territory. She's gonna want to be away from people. She's gonna want to hide away a bit more. I don't know that we'll necessarily see her doing a lot of publicity, doing anything like that. For like maybe in very, very small doses, but not for, yeah, she's gonna want to retreat. You know how like dogs and cats, just for example, go into a kind of like mode when they're pregnant. The mommy will want to be alone and away from anybody, away from anything. She just wants to sort of hide away. Because it feels like the most, I don't know, the safest. It feels safe for her. So I feel like Selena is going to be going through something where she's going to want to hide away from the world a little bit. And I think that maybe it might cause a little bit of, it could cause something between them, but I'm feeling more like it's more like the two of them have to do this thing together. And it's going to challenge their bond, but they're going to make it through. They will make it through. And I know that from the outcome card. The outcome card being the King of Wands with work, labor, and efforts. So I feel like the possible problem or challenge is going to not only be overcome, but it has to do with their work, and it has to do with their with something legal when it comes to their professions. Okay, their foundation is pretty strong. Okay, I'm not gonna lie about that. They are both in after this marriage took place, they both sort of feel like they're both leaders in some way. You know, they kind of have a feeling of being in positions, well, not necessarily, they know that they had been in positions of power. They're very well known. They are creative people, but together they feel even stronger. And so they're going to be doing a lot of giving back in the future. I just wanted to touch on that really quickly. A lot of charitable things, but they're not going to stop working together either. So there's a lot coming for them when it comes to collaborating, and maybe, I don't know if they'll do another album together, but it's definitely, there's something coming that might be a bit different, but they're both willing to make the effort to do this. I really feel like, and I don't know for sure, but I feel like this could essentially involve Selena Gomez and her efforts to protect Latino people. Okay? I feel like that is very important to her still, and that might be something, she might be starting some kind of coalition with Benny, and they put their heads together and they try to create more jobs, make more money to then give back to them, to families in the Latino communities that are struggling. That's something that I kind of see here. But for their relationship, it's going strong, okay? As of right now, and because timelines can change, okay? I will revisit this in the future to see if the outcome changes. But right now, they're doing really well, and their foundation is strong, okay? And some people just fit together, all right? It's not to say that they're perfect, and then that's not to say that they're not going to have problems come up in their relationship. What I feel, though, is that these two people are well suited enough to get through any storms that may come their way. So they're better kind of together than they are separate, and that's what's showing up in the reading. All right, so let's move on to Justin. What's going on with Justin's thoughts and feelings when it comes to Benny and Selena and their marriage, their relationship? And like I said, it hit him like a ton of bricks. It was like a lightning strike, but in a bad way. Like Benny and Selena came together. It was a lightning strike in a positive way, like a complete and total realization that they like each other a lot, like that there's some kind of connection here. And we never saw it before. And it's like really cool, and they're exploring it, but they knew that like it was controversial and, you know, like what I said before. So they weren't sure how to come out with it. They didn't want to either. I don't feel like they wanted to make their relationship public until they were both ready to do that. So, like I said, Justin found out before everybody else knew, because in Hollywood, you know, it's kind of small town among celebrities. You hear things, you find things out. He at first he felt so incredibly conflicted, okay? So conflicted about this. And he was trying, I mean, the strength card comes out with conflict. It was like he couldn't rest. Yeah. I feel like he was losing sleep over that. But he was incredibly it's very strange to say this, considering that Justin is married and he has a child, and he's been with Haley for a while, right? But that doesn't mean he wants Selena to move on and be in a relationship and ultimately get married. I mean, there's still that immature part of him that wants to, you know, have his cake and eat it too, you know, have these two women pining, or have her on the back burner in a way. They may find themselves, the future is really difficult to predict. Okay. And it depends entirely on them and their free will. So they could very well find themselves, together one day. But right now, things are as they are. All right. And I'm really looking very briefly at this. And this is the most probable timeline in an infinite number of timelines that I'm reading. Okay. And it can change based on them. Okay. But what Spirit is showing me is that in the past, when Justin first heard about this relationship, it left him feeling so insecure. He felt like he was inadequate. He felt like he didn't matter anymore. I know that sounds so weird, because I don't know that they were even talking to each other, Selena and Justin. I don't know that him and Benny were talking to each other at the time, but I can say that it made him have he reflected more on, he took it personally, okay? And it made him look at himself in negative ways, or feel like he was the victim of them being together. Benny and Selena being in a relationship made him feel victimized in some way. And so a lot of the things that he was posting are in fact, allegedly, I can't say fact, but allegedly, his true feelings on the matter. And it was just seeping out little by little, at random times too. And maybe that's why it's a puzzle that nobody can solve really, but it affected him in a lot of negative ways, them coming together. He didn't like it. Of course, I don't understand that fully because he's in a relationship and he seems to be happy in that relationship. That's why I feel like this comes from it's like almost, I don't want you, but I don't want anybody to have you either kind of place. So the present Justin, okay, having just witnessed that they got married. Of course he wasn't there, but of course everybody online was talking about them getting married and the date of their marriage. So it was looming over his head, and he was like, nope, I'm going to dive into work. Okay. He sort of went cold. Okay. This is him going cold. Sort of in about a month or a little over a month prior to their wedding date. I'm going to, kind of just try to disconnect. I also feel like, because he wasn't being straight up with himself about how he truly feels, because he was so in his head, he was sort of disconnecting. He was projecting what he was feeling and what he was thinking, out into places where it didn't really belong. So he was being manipulative and controlling when it came to certain aspects of his job, and potentially in the money situation that he was in. That was a focus for him at the time. There was a lot of focus around money. There still is focus around money and working. Okay, so he was worried about his album. He was feeling pretty detached. Okay, he was trying to detach, but it was showing up. Like I said, Justin has this thing where it seeps out no matter what. He's going to show how he truly feels, even if it's seemingly about something else that has nothing to do with Selena and Benny. It's going to seep out, and the people that know him and the people that are around him the most can sort of see it. Yeah, they know his patterns, right? The future of how he feels, he's still in that victim mentality. I've been abandoned. I've been abandoned by her. I've been abandoned by him. He is feeling apathetic. He is feeling unfulfilled. He's feeling like there was a missed opportunity with Selena that he could have had. And he's thinking about that a lot. And he's thinking about all that he doesn't have instead of all that he has. He is just sitting in discontentment and melancholy about their relationship. I think maybe something is going to show up online. Also presently, by the way, anytime that he is putting out anything regarding his music, there is going to be some sort of symbolism. Like if he's posting Instagram stories or things about music, there's hidden messages in there for sure, because that's King of Swords and occupation. There's going to be a lot that he's showing online no matter what, and it's going to be apparent to people that have followed that very closely. Future, he's feeling indifferent towards the situation, but deep down he's feeling abandoned. Okay, he is still in this, like, I can't believe this is happening to me. It's strange to say that, but again, he is who he is. I'm getting this sort of, I'm getting this feeling constantly when I'm feeling his energy that he's a contradiction in some ways. It's like, I don't even think he's trying to be happy for them because he's in his own misery. And I'm not trying to put him down. He's lived a very difficult life, okay? I have compassion for him because I could never live the life that he's lived. I wouldn't have the strength, I don't think. So I feel for him. I just feel like there's a lot that he hasn't grown from. It's coming up in my readings. There's this sad boy that lives inside of him that is always acting out, but also feeling sorry for himself. And if he wants to overcome that, he's got to make that choice, you know? I don't know what work he's doing in therapy or if he's even in therapy or working things out with whomever to get himself in touch with that sad boy that lives inside of him. But it rears its head in situations like this. Selena is a sore spot for him, and she always will be. So if he feels left behind, and he's trying, what he's doing in the future with this is he's trying to dissociate from it. He's trying to, and this is going to sound really dark, but he's trying to, like, imagine that they don't exist, you know? Not that he wants that. I'm just saying he feels he needs to do that in order to get through the day. There are some days that are better than others. Future, this is how I feel. This is how it is. Justin, in his thoughts and feelings, is saying to himself, okay, I'm going to succeed in every possible way that I can, okay? And she's going to come back to me because we're soulmates. Because we are the true soulmates in this situation. I feel so like, you know, when you hear something that you aren't supposed to hear because it's somebody else's business, that's how I feel right now. It's like, I'm going to show you, Selena, that I'm the better choice. This is strange. I also really, I want him to, if I could give Justin some advice right now, not that he's going to watch this at all, but if I could give him some advice, I would tell him to watch where he steps physically. He's moving too quickly, and those steps that he's making physically could lead him towards an accident. And I don't mean it's going to be fatal, but he needs to be careful because his thoughts are determining his actions, and his thoughts are not clear. Okay, they're very negative. And so if he doesn't get that straightened out, if he doesn't get it out of him in some way, it's just going to keep eating at him, and it's going to affect every move that he makes. And I just want him to be careful. That's all. And I just feel like he's constantly peering in. He's peering in, periodically. He's looking at their social media. He's seeing things. He's hearing things probably still. And it's not good for his mind. There are too many swords here. This is a person who's in his head about stuff. Selena and Benny are very grounded. They're doing okay right now. Justin, not so much. These aren't good cards. They just aren't. He's gonna find some strength. The thing is, he has to be willing to reach out to the endless amount of options that are there for him that can help him through whatever it is he's feeling and thinking. And maybe he just can't, he feels like he can't do that. He can't get over it. He can't trust anyone. He can't, and that's valid. I don't know who he can trust. He doesn't, maybe he can't trust anyone, and that sucks, to be living in your own misery without anybody to turn to. But I hope he turns to his wife. I hope he loves her enough to rely on her in certain ways. They're supposed to be each other's confidants. They're married. So yeah, I just, that's the reading that I've got for you guys today. If you guys have any questions about Benny and Selena, Justin, whatever, you can leave them down below. And eventually, I'm probably going to revisit this again just to check in, maybe. But it won't be for a little while because I like to leave their energies alone. That's how I pay respect to the people that I'm reading. But I hope this all found you well, and I hope you're all doing really, really well today and in your future days, and I will talk to you soon.